Well, a question in the skies: game changer or stopgap? Iran recently announced the addition of MiG-29 fighter jets to its air force. The news immediately sparked debate across the globe. For a nation operating an air force largely composed of aging, pre-revolutionary aircraft, any new hardware draws intense scrutiny. Analysts and military observers quickly fell into two camps. One side argues these jets represent a significant leap forward, potentially altering the delicate balance of military power in the Middle East. The other side dismisses the acquisition as a minor development, a mere patch on a threadbare quilt. This essay will explore both perspectives, examining the facts, the limitations, and the strategic implications. It seeks to answer one central question: are these new MiG-29s a genuine game-changer for Iran, or are they simply a stopgap measure, buying time for a military under immense pressure? To properly assess the impact of these aircraft, we must view them through the dual lens of conflict versus capability. The fulcrum: unpacking the MiG-29. The Mikoyan MiG-29, known by its NATO reporting name Fulcrum, is a twin-engine air superiority fighter jet developed by the Soviet Union. It first took to the skies in the 1970s, designed as a direct answer to a new generation of American fighters: F-15 Eagle, F-16 Fighting Falcon. Its primary mission was clear: to gain and maintain control of the airspace by hunting and destroying enemy aircraft. Built for the rigors of a high-intensity dogfight. Exceptional agility at both high and low speeds. Powered by Klimov RD-33 engines. High thrust-to-weight for rapid acceleration and vertical climbs. In simple terms, a formidable aerial opponent. Engineered as a point defense interceptor, can scramble quickly, climb rapidly, and engage incoming threats. Excellent for protecting high-value targets like cities, military bases, and nuclear facilities. Armed with an internal 30mm cannon and air-to-air missiles, R-60 and R-27. An aging fleet, the state of Iran's air force. To understand why any new fighter matters, first see the current state of its air force. The IRIAF is a museum in the sky, a fascinating but troubled collection from a bygone era. Its most capable fighters are relics from the 1970s, bought under the Shah before 1979. Grumman F-14 Tomcat, McDonnell Douglas F-4, Phantom II, Northrop F-5 Tiger II, once top of the line 4 decades ago. Today they run beyond intended service lives, kept flying through cannibalization, reverse engineering, and sheer ingenuity. Sanctions cut Iran off from spare parts, technical manuals, and software updates. Engineers replicate components, engine blades, and avionics systems. The effort keeps planes aloft, but it is unsustainable. Airframes are old and prone to failure. A patchwork force, small numbers of MiG-29s since the early 1990s, Chinese J-7s, and domestic Seike and Kausar, largely F-5 derivatives. Critical gaps: low readiness, limited flight hours, and outdated EW, data links, and sensors. This is the context into which the new MiG-29s arrive. New clause, where the MiG-29 enhances capability. Despite its age, the MiG-29 brings tangible benefits to the beleaguered Iranian Air Force. Its most immediate contribution is in air defense, designed as a fast-climbing interceptor, matching Iran's need to protect its airspace. High speed, agility, and quick scramble to challenge unidentified aircraft, positioned at strategic bases to shield infrastructure and population centers. The MiG-29 represents a generational leap in close-in maneuvering, outturning even the capable F-14 in a knife fight. With a helmet-mounted sight and R-73 AA-11 Archer, pilots can look and shoot far-off bore sight. Modernization and training value. Pilots and ground crews gain experience with fourth-generation systems, building a cadre for future fighters like the Su-35. Deterrence. Even a small MiG-29 force raises the cost of limited operations. Adversaries must allocate escorts and electronic warfare to missions near Iranian airspace. For all the capabilities the MiG-29 brings, it is burdened by an equally long list of limitations that really clips its wings. Factory fresh or refurbished older models? If older, they arrive with fatigue and aging components, cutting readiness. Older jets demand intensive maintenance and fail more. Without reliable spares, they risk becoming hangar queens. Electronics are another weakness. Shorter range radar, poor multi-target tracking, vulnerable to jamming. In beyond visual range fights, MiG-29s may be engaged before they even know they are targeted. Upgrades help, but integrating them under sanctions is complex and expensive. Pilot proficiency is critical. Limited fuel, parts, and simulators reduce flight hours and advanced training. Fighters need a network, early warning radars, AEW&C, tankers, secure data links, assets Iran lacks. Without that network and with limited range, MiG-29s struggle for situational awareness and operational reach. Applying the conflict versus capability framework provides the clearest picture of the MiG-29's true value. From a pure capability standpoint, it is a modest upgrade. Speed, agility, and close-range armament. Compared to Iran's older F-5s and J-7s, it adds a modern point defense interceptor layer. This lets Iran rapidly challenge aerial threats with a maneuverable fourth-gen fighter. But utility depends on the opponent. Against less advanced regional air forces, MiG-29s could be highly effective, establishing local air superiority and deterring. They could decisively challenge older jets like F-5s or Mirage F-1s. But versus top-tier powers, United States, Israel, fifth-generation stealth fighters backed by AWACS, tankers, and EW tip the balance. MiG-29s would be detected and targeted long before their pilots knew. Lack of stealth, outdated electronics, and weak support networks make them vulnerable. They do not change outcomes in a large-scale conflict, speed bumps in a coordinated air campaign. Their value lies in complicating limited strikes and reconnaissance. The introduction of new military hardware in the Middle East never goes unnoticed. The arrival of MiG-29s in Iran will trigger reactions from regional powers. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Israel invest heavily to maintain a qualitative edge, and will be watching closely. Expect measured, intelligence-driven assessments, monitoring sortie rates, locations, and maintenance tempo. They will use satellites, electronic intelligence aircraft, drones, and ground sensors. What missile loadouts are they flying? Are the MiG-29s integrating with other Iranian assets? If integration looks credible, rivals could accelerate procurements, buy stronger air defenses, or add EW pods. They may lean on stealth for higher-risk operations. Diplomatically, pressure could continue. But planners also know Iran's maintenance, logistics, and training shortfalls. The burden of proof is on Iran to show these jets are more than symbols. Given the MiG-29's strengths and weaknesses, several employment scenarios emerge. Most frequent, defensive air patrols, shows of force, border and Gulf patrols, including the Strait of Hormuz. Dual purpose, deterrence and real-world pilot experience. Quick reaction interceptors on high alert at key air bases. Rapid climb and acceleration are major assets to challenge recon aircraft and drones. Assert sovereignty and collect intelligence, without escalating to open conflict. In limited fights against less advanced forces, they could establish local air superiority and protect ground or naval units. They might engage enemy fighters or attempt to downstrike aircraft, high stress and risk. In a major war, commanders likely preserve them as a fleet in being, launching selective ambushes on bombers, tankers, or AWACS, operating from dispersed hardened sites with shoot-and-scoot tactics. The aim, not to win the air war, but to make it as painful and costly as possible for an attacker. After examining capabilities, force health, and strategy, we return to the central question: game changer or stopgap? The evidence overwhelmingly points toward the latter. MiG-29s provide a useful boost, faster, more agile, more lethal in a dogfight. They improve Iran's ability to patrol airspace and pose a credible interception threat. They help plug defensive gaps, but they are not a game changer. They do not alter the regional balance of power. Constrained by age, outdated electronics, and a lack of supporting assets like modern radar and AEW&C, logistics and maintenance under sanctions are immense challenges. Against fifth-generation fighters and integrated defenses, small MiG-29 numbers face insurmountable odds. A pragmatic stopgap, buying time while Iran develops domestic solutions or seeks advanced foreign aircraft. They add deterrent value in low-level confrontations and serve as a training platform. Final takeaway: Iran's MiG-29s sharpen its defensive shield, but they do not provide a new sword capable of winning a modern air war.